Greetings, friends. This is Tolkien Tuesday. We've talked about Gandalf and Aragorn, and now we come to Frodo and Sam, the two hobbits who take upon themselves the impossible task of carrying the ring to Mordor. What do Frodo and Sam have to teach us about hope and despair?
Well, Samwise Gamgee is the best character. Samwise is the real hero. He's the one who actually put Frodo on his back and drags him up the hill.
Well, early in the trilogy, before Frodo even knows the full extent of his destiny or doom, he sings a song to encourage his fellow hobbits. It goes like this: "Oh, wanderers in the shadowed land, despair not." This resolve to reject despair, which begins to fade already in the old forest, will be tested in greater measure when the shadowed land becomes literally the land of shadow. Now fast forward to the end of the quest, where we read that Sam, quote, knew all the arguments of despair and would not listen to them. In other words, it seems that there is a third way, a way between hope and despair. It is on this path that Tolkien showcases heroic virtues of courage and faithfulness. Characters recognize the job that they have been called to do and aim to complete it, regardless of the personal cost. This is the exact language that Frodo uses when speaking to Sam about the rations for their return journey. I do not think we need give thought to what comes after that. To do the job, as you put it. What hope is there that we ever shall? And if we do, who knows what will come of that? I ask you, Sam, are we ever likely to need bread again? I think not. If we can nurse our limbs to Mount Doom, that is all we can do. Even though Frodo has given up all hope of returning, his lone thought is to do the job that has been entrusted to him. But perhaps the best example of this is when Sam surrenders himself to the fact that he will probably die on the quest. Tolkien writes, "So that was the job I felt I had to do when I started," thought Sam, "to help Mr. Frodo to the last step and then die with him. Well, if that is the job, then I must do it." But even as hope died in Sam, or seemed to die, it turned to a new strength. Sam's plain hobbit face grew stern, almost grim, as the will hardened in him, and he felt through all his limbs a thrill, as if he was turning into some creature of stone and steel that neither despair nor endless barren miles could subdue. Hope dies, and yet despair cannot subdue him. Here, Tolkien gives us a powerful picture of the sort of perseverance that can emerge from this type of hope.
Come on, Mr. Frodo. I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you.
Sam's heroism is that of the common foot soldier, who bravely accepts his role, his mission, regardless of the outcome, regardless of the cost, regardless of how small or big his part in the story may be. Underneath it is the confidence that we are part of a larger picture, and we have no way of knowing just how significant our role could be.
Frodo can't throw the ring in the fire, by the way. You know what I was remembering the other day? Why does anyone think Frodo's going to be able to throw the ring in the fire? Spoiler alert. Why does anyone think Frodo's going to throw the ring in the fire? Because when Gandalf first tells him that the ring is the ring of power, he says to him, try to throw the ring in the fire right now. Because Frodo says, let's melt it right now. And Gandalf says, throw it in your little coal fire here. And he can't do it then. Why does he think he's going to be able to throw it into the cracks of doom later? Gandalf did not put as much thought into this as I have.
One of my favorite letters in Tolkien is when a reader wrote to complain of Frodo's failure to be able to destroy the ring. And the response from Tolkien is actually quite stunning. He says that it is actually impossible that Frodo, or any incarnate mortal, could actually be able to destroy the ring of their own will. But he goes on to write this: Frodo deserved all honor because he spent every drop of his power of will and body and that was just sufficient to bring him to the destined point and no further. Few others, possibly no others of his time, would have got so far. The other power then took over. The writer of the story, by which I do not mean myself, that one present person who is never absent and never named. That one present person who is never absent and never named. Confident that such a person exists and is good. This is what we have been called to do, to use every ounce of our power and will to do as much as we can, to play our parts well, and then in humility to step out of the way and allow other powers to act, to name the ever-present person who is never absent and never named, to let God be God. Thanks for joining me on this journey and on Tolkien Tuesday.